Okay, so Ares is playing as Babylonian, the first time we've seen them this community challenge. He's gone straight on the hunt. He's not going for early hunting dogs or anything, which is something I actually really like to do. Oop, he's got a straggler there. Pick up on that. Smeagol's gone straight for these sheep. So Ghost Lake always has 3 sets of sheep that spawn in a group of 3 instead of the usual 2 in the center of the map. Smeagol spawning as red Egyptians, so he's played as yellow Egyptians the previous 2 games, so looks like that's all he wants to play today. He's a one trick. Get him! No hunting dogs for Smeagol just yet. Ares is going for hunting dogs. So the funny thing is about Babylonian is if you're going to go for it, you can literally click it as soon as the game starts. And there's no reason for you not to if you're going to get the tech. Unless you're going to go like barracks first. And Babylon, because there's no travel time, well, I mean other than for this guy, but even still that's like gold mine distance. Your gather rate off the hunt ends up being better than everyone else's. So yeah, you get quicker hunting dogs. You go 4 villages straight on the hunt, and like you're gathering at the speed everyone else is when they go to 5 villages, or not quite, or but pretty close to, basically. It's like 4.5 villages, and it's just sweet. You just get so much food in the bang. Ares has already got like 100 food more. There we go. He's got his age up building. The ziggurat on the way. Temple of Ra going down. Both our players be able to continue training villagers. So these are the only 2 civs that get this. Being able to train villagers while... And that was a really smooth requeue there by Ares. Really high quality Korean pro gamer stuff. So Smeagol's getting his Temple of Ra. It'll be a little bit delayed relative to the Zig, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Both our players have got to gather a bit more in order to be able to go for anything in Age 2 anyway. They'll be going for a town center, but I mean, they could even be going for production. I reckon we need to make town centers slower to build or more expensive again. It's always nice when... I wouldn't say 1TC builds like reign supreme, I don't think that's a good idea, but I mean when they're on the off chance viable, if you do them perfectly into someone that's not suspecting it, I think that's actually really quite healthy for the game. But anyway, that aside, I'm sure these guys will just go 2TC and have a phenomenal Age 2 and Age 3. We'll see how we go. Smeagol's going for that second TC. It's very, very defensively placed. Doesn't really even shadow the hunt there or the gold. Like if he got it here, I think it'd probably even be a little bit better just to cover those. But in saying that, it does make him slightly easier to get pushed into, and this protects his wood line too, and he doesn't have to worry about trying to secure this, because this can be a tough map for wood. If he goes for it here, like too far over, I mean you can sort of still protect there, I guess. But yeah, Ghost Lake is a very open map. Smeagol's already... Ares, sorry, is already looking to get Lancers. Smeagol's looking to get Camels. So, I mean, Lancers are just a really nice unit to have in Age 2. And in pretty much every other matchup for Babylon, they pretty much dictate how the matchup gets played. Whereas in this matchup, because camels exist. The Egyptian player can just about blindly go camels and rely on more or less locking out this style of play from the Babylonian, and then it becomes shifting back into barracks units, and well, eventually bowmen as well, possibly for the Babylonian player. Two stables here for Ares. This will be interesting. It'll be pumping double Lancer production. Smeagol will be getting camels and starting to get some... Well, he's probably hoping to try and squeeze in Axemen to counter Spearman production from our Babylonian player here. So Ares, as long as he doesn't engage the camels directly, he can be a real pest with Lancers. And this, you know, if he just does hit and runs, and you know, doesn't invest too much in army behind this, he can go for a quick age 3, possibly. Although, funnily enough, personally, I like to be the more aggressive player in age 2, because Egyptian is a civ that really does like to have age 3, just so you get the chariot camel champion combo. So Ares, it's been a good tell for him. Having the scout there, he did see the camels, the lancers. Tried to have a bit of a hit and run on the wood line, but there's just not enough of them. They'll take too much damage. He's going to have to... Oh, Ares does not want to take this fight, so he loses a Lancer. He didn't need to there. A bit more health off a couple of others. Smeagol's actually... Oh, Ares is going for another stables. This is very risky from the Babylonian player. I mean, the Egyptian player is going to have to ramp up stables to get camels to counter them, but in saying that, when both players go to age 3, Smeagol doesn't really have to worry about much barracks tech. And I mean, he is going to get a couple of Axemen. He'll probably take Axe Champion as soon as he gets Camel Champion. So he'll sort of be one step ahead on tech, or on composition there. Smeagol actually microed off that villager that was low. Ares was late to garrison then, and Smeagol actually microed off the villager and let her live. So, a little bit of a mistake there from Smeagol, but I don't think it'll be game deciding. Ares is age 3 kicking in. Smeagol will be taking his soon. Oh, actually, he's just getting a shitload of barracks now. He can nearly afford age 3, but he's a little bit food starved. Ares is really relying on playing like a heavy Lancer comp. Oh yeah, he's going to get mounted archers. Here we go. So Ares is looking to really just play stables oriented. Maybe add on barracks now to get some spearmen, or maybe even some royal guards. Smeagol, is he going for age 3 yet? He's getting the armory. It's a little bit of gold off age 3. Is he gonna go for that? Because it looks like he's holding up a bit of resources at the moment. Could even get these villagers back in queue. Getting some more slingers out. He's only on 41 villagers and he's cutting vills for the moment, Smeagol. This is a bit of a gamble. And yeah, he is going for Temple of Set there. I was just waiting for him to get 300 gold. He's not going to engage with mounted archers in the mix until he gets Camel Champ. They get a little bit more health, they get a ranged damage multiplier, so they actually start to be a bit of an even trade. And this is good for Ares because only half of Smeagol's army is actually here, and nothing's really engaging on the mounted archers, which can get a little bit of damage in, which is always nice. And our Babylonian player does have that pharmacology tech, so any of these little skirmishes that don't really result in kills are good for a bad player. It forces the other civ to have to invest in healing when, you know, they've just got to get the upgrade and not overextend. So Smeagol will have to start getting some priestesses soon. Age 3's kicked in. Had to to get that third town center. Ares is only going for his third town center now, so he really went for this just so he could pump out mounted archers and basically counter everything other than slingers, which, you know, Smeagol's not going to want to base an H2 army around slingers. So really smart stuff there from Ares. I was a bit worried he might be investing too much in the Lancers, but he really only got about 8 of them, I think, which ended up being worthwhile because then he could just pump mounted archers once he, you know, he had those 3 stables ready to go. Smeagol will be shaping up for a proper attack now. Getting a few chariots in the mix and trying to get the gold to get Camel champion here. Gonna have to shift gold mines in a sec. And he's still getting the stone for his age 3 town center. So, ooh, Smeagol's able to take out a house there, but there is a lot of ranged in the back there. And chariots coming out here for Ares as well. So these guys have better flat damage than the mounted archers. They don't counter anything except priests, but they play a similar role to the Babylonian chariot, where you mainly just got them there to just deal good generalist range damage against everything. So they're even good against things like, you know, camels and lancers, because they can deal so much damage, you know, provided that nothing gets on top of them and kills them. Ares has been playing very vision heavy over here. He wants to make sure he's nice and safe, but the camels aren't going to ruin his day. Is that scout active a lot of this game? Smeagol's actually starting to use his scout for the same thing. Keep an eye on a few resources, the gold, the stone, maybe see if anyone's going for the berries. And it also, you know, it helps defensively as well. Like Ares over here, he knows when the camels are coming. He knows if Smeagol's shifting down onto these resources, or looking to, you know, put a mid-map fort somewhere. So Lancers having their champion upgrade now. These guys will be very tough to deal with, but the camels are ultimately a little bit faster and do counter them. Ares. Got a few Royal Guards in the mix as well, just to tank a bit of camel damage and axeman damage. Ideally the camels, even though they don't deal great damage to them, they you know, free up the mounted archers to get a lot done. Ares just trying to micro what he can here, get a couple of kills in, losing a few mounted archers in the process, but those camels, there's not a lot of health left across them. There's so many low camels in that army. Smeagol really needs to get 1 or 2 of these priestesses over here. He's up to 66 vils this time. He's still producing, so he's not going to cut in the 60s. He's probably going to push through to into the 70s and then look at cutting eco. There, he's never ended up going for that next watch post by the looks of things. The player's doing a real good job of vision here. Smeagol's getting some watch posts on both sides. These guys are very careful, very controlled. There's nothing too erratic here. We haven't seen some crazy like base trades or hit and run trades going on here so far. A little bit of prodding and poking from Ares earlier, but yeah, it's been passive. A couple of villages of Ares getting caught out there. 75 vils to 73. So yeah, Smeagol not falling into the trap of trying to have a bigger army and having too small of an economy. But I do think if he can get these priestesses out of here, or the priest of Set, just get them somewhere in the middle of the map just to heal up, just top up all these camels, because he's missing a lot of health here. And it's, while the unit's alive, it's not a big deal, but once the units start dying, you know, it really reduces the amount of damage his own army is able to deal to Ares. Like, he just can't tank as much. And Ares, is very smart about this. He's not overextending, not looking to lose too much, but making a bit of use of that pharmacology. So all these mounted archers that have taken a little bit of damage, they're able to just heal up quickly. Same with the lancers. And the scout there for Smeagol getting caught out, which is not a big deal this late on in a way, because you can just use your villagers to build watch posts at this stage, and you've got like 80 of them. Yeah, 73 to 75. Both players are actually cutting villages around the same sort of time here. Ares getting some age 3 upgrades, melee damage and armor. Already got range damage and armor. Smeagol getting range damage, still needs to get melee damage, but already has all his armor upgrades. No Egyptian getting both, that's always helpful. It looks like he is going to try and bring one of the priestesses over, and he does have one in the mix now, so he's going to start topping up units, which is going to be really big, I think, because he's on very even footing in terms of upgrades. He's a little behind in terms of resources in the bank, but otherwise this is a much more even contest to what we saw last game, where again, you know, Ares didn't really do anything spectacular, but Smeagol just cut Vills a little bit too early. Maybe didn't take the fights early enough. This game we've seen some really nice control from Ares, but it's a very even fight here. A lot of axes in production, but they'll be up against lancers. In saying that, Ares, his army's just melted here. That Egyptian backline, well, the front line just held up there more than the Babylonian one, and then that backline was able to just polish everything off there. Populations were like 170, 170, and then looked up again and it was like 120 to 170. So Smeagol, a really nice fight there, and Ares, his bank just crumbles there. He's got age 4 in the queue, so Smeagol, he just wants to push right now and just starve out Ares, because Ares can't produce much. While this is training, like he's just eaten up 3,500 resources. And he's got his royal guards in the queue, but like he doesn't have a huge amount of gold. He's got like no gold in the bank. He's trying to wall himself in. So if Smeagol pushes right now, I think he could look at locking this one out. He's doing a real good job here. He's cut off a bit of vision there. So if he gets those camels active, Ares will be in trouble. Ares gonna have to play a bit of tag here, try and lead the army through his base, but away from any critical resources right now, like gold. He's got to be careful to save these guys. He's done a good job at massing up an army through all this while taking age 4. Because he went into that fight with a bit more in the bank, but he lost so much more that Smeagol's, now the one with more resources in the bank, more population. He's got that age 4 TC. Ares has still got to try and fit his in somehow. So he's a little bit punished now. It's unfamiliar territory for Ares. But he is defending here. The front line for the Egyptian player now getting completely demolished. Smeagol having to make the transition to the war alleys. Well, Ares still mainly relying on lancers at the front. And I mean, as the camel count falls, that'll get better and better for him. There's a lot of chariots. Hasn't really got any mounted archers in them. Oh, he's got a couple still. Hasn't really been making mounted archers for some time now. Doesn't have a lot of gold. He's having to get the caravans out just to keep that gold eco ticking over. Smeagol now burning through his age 4, his golden age 4, now that he's getting all these upgrades. Gaining time and movement speed, that'll be a big upgrade for the elephants. You can get some Ellie archers in the mix. Thought I heard a priest there. Wonder if Smeagol's going to make a couple of priests of Ra here, because if you can get them in, Oh, there we go. There's the priest for the Babylonian player. So Ares has actually got a priest. I was thinking if Smeagol goes for a couple of priests of Tar, it's always such a scary thing. I know it's a big gold investment in matchups like this where, you know, both players are a bit starved for gold, and it's quite tough having the map control to actually go for it. Smeagol's actually trying to gather all the gold on this left side. These right golds here, I think, sort of favour him. I mean, Ares has got a couple of golds. Yeah, well, his gold ones are actually more secure. These ones that are a bit more central, I think they're more for Smeagol. They're just not in a great spot. Smeagol getting another fortress, just wants to... Well, he can eventually set up a really good market line over here if he wants. And it just gives him access to more stone, more food, and lets him catch potential raids here. So that's a big one from Ares. He's checking the gold mine. And he might wrap around the corner to try and hit further over. Smeagol's going to try and... Well, I don't think he's seen this yet, though. So this will be nice for Ares. He'll kill a few villagers here, prevent the wall up, which is good because he knows the market's going to be here. Ares getting all his Age 4 upgrades, Chariot Champion. That'll be a big one, making him a lot cheaper. Even more bonus damage to Priest, which is probably not such a big deal. Unless Smeagol really gets Priest of Tar, which I don't think he's going to go for. Lance is ever the pest here. Smeagol losing a couple of villagers, 76 to 88. This might actually work in Smeagol's favour though. If he loses a couple of more villagers, he's up on army size. And he does have a few resources in the back. Gold's really the only thing he's struggling with. Looks like Ares has actually pulled ahead on the economic bank side of things though. It's a tough comp for Ares to deal with though. The elephants being converted. Don't know if he'll get it though. The elephants are probably going to get killed before they get converted at this rate. Yeah, and that's what happens. The Lancers join the fight, the camels following them in. Bearing in mind these camels are going to be good against everything out of the stables from the Babylonian player. Elephant Archer being focused down, or attempted to be focused down there, but not quite falling. Surviving through that. Smeagol pushing with everything he's got. He's got very little gold in the bank, but he's walling himself in completely. Right now, players, this is the sole focus for them, because I think Smeagol knows if he can keep grinding down Ares here on any particular resource, he can eventually break him, but at the same time he's got to maintain his own gathering through this. Ares is struggling a little bit for food, but he's got an impressive backline here. A few melee units caught up in the midst of it though, which is not great, and the front line here for Smeagol is just so strong. He can start investing more in some chariots here, which he's going to start doing so. The priest might be getting some value here, or he might just be rizzing up a few targets without actually doing anything here. The catapult's just going to get sniped, which will be expensive. They're 500 resources, so that's not great for Smeagol. That's a very solid defense there for Ares. Smeagol needs to try and get a bit more of a backline of his own here. Ares is now really turning this one around. He's up to 190 pop. Smeagol down to 155 and struggling on economy here. A 92 vills to 80 as well. So through all this, you know, Ares does have a slight gathering advantage there, slight army size disadvantage when they're maxed out, but right now Smeagol's not. So it's good for Ares to push here. Fortress is going to be doing everything it can Oh, and Smeagol's focused down the priest there. Now going to go for the chariot, so this will be good fire. Focus fire from Smeagol here, trying to get on the gold mine as well. He's doing what he can to hold on here. More villagers going to get picked off there. Smeagol's going to have to try and garrison that again. More camels. Lance is ultimately cleaning up the camels over here. Ares must have just sent, you know, more. I think Smeagol only had 3 camels, and I don't think they were full health either. Pretty sure I saw those earlier in the game. The watch post cleaners. So the fortress is going to get taken out here. Only half the army's actually taking this down, so Ares losing a bit more than he probably should have there. And Smeagol, another gold gatherer, going to get cut down in her prime. The markets, they're under a bit of threat now. And this other fortress over here, it's not really able to offer any value yet. Oh, this could be worth it. Smeagol able to save the market line for the time being. But Ares is looking really solid. He's up to 200 pop. Starting to accrue a bit more in the bank. Starting to finish off some more upgrades here. Smeagol still really needs to get some damage upgrades. So he's got iron smelting on the way. Does he only have the one armory? Yeah, he does. He's got Bodkin queued up already. Both players max population in a sec. Ares could potentially just hit that same spot again because Smeagol hasn't repaired it yet. So Smeagol's gonna have to babysit this side. He really needs to send something to repair that. Well, Ares, he needs to look at a way getting through there. He possibly could have just ignored the fortress as well. I was gonna say he doesn't want to fight 2 split up here, but bearing in mind, chariot archers I think have the longest range of anything other than like ranged siege units and peltists. Nice surround here from Ares. He might be able to get the catapult there, and he's killing a few chariots. Not everything's fighting here for Ares though, so that's not great. It's been a real contest on this left side of the map. There's been basically nothing else going on around the map here. He's now repaired that wall. Ares trying to take a bit of a split fight here, but I don't know if this has panned out as well as he'd hoped. This army down at the south of the map has just gotten gobbled up. A few more villagers getting picked off there. 77 to 97. Bearing in mind, it's starting to get to the point where Smeagol's going to have a much bigger army, even if he isn't gathering as much. Feel the chariots getting mauled right now. Oh, this is real crafty. Ares only going for a single villager on this though. I don't know if that's going to work out here. But Smeagol's split up his army now. Ares is the bulk of his now, trying to hit this gold mine. Put some pressure on the market as well. So this fight is possibly going to go Ares' way. I was going to say, unless Smeagol could get a conversion off there, but it looks like he just didn't bring enough because there's just so many camels sitting over here. And he hasn't got them in the mix. Like he could punish this gold mine, or he could bring them back here and help himself win this fight. He's going to bring them all back now. That wall off is going to start to crumble. There is the 2 markets though, so take a while to get through all that. This might be a good catch here for Smeagol. He's keeping these guys out. But ooh, there's Plenty of melee inside Smeagol's base right now. Ares is really camping that market line, getting a couple of caravans. Smeagol will be able to clean up these raw guards, but there's a lot of mounted archers now in the mix. These guys will really cut through the camels if they're focusing down the lancers and the royal guards. Smeagol losing a big chunk of population there. Ares might just have enough to deny this market line, and it'll start to get really tough for our players here, really expensive at this stage of the game to be losing things like that. Smeagol actually walling in the mounted archers here, but it's not quite a full wall off. There's a small gap in the wall there for some reason. I don't know why there's that gap in the wall, but Smeagol, it's going to be really tough for him to defend in this position. Fortified market for Ares. He really wants to make sure he's well protected in late game. Next we'll see a wonder out of him. He's going to try and go for that wharf. He does have the Priest of Tar here. Is he going to be able to get the... Oh no. I just want to see a big conversion. Smeagol's not able to... Has he got a villager coming to get that wall done? This is a tough choke for Ares to push into though. Smeagol's running low on gold. He's run out of gold actually. He can't... Oh, this fortress is going to finish up, so Smeagol probably was best off trying to deny this first, or check it at least. Because if he can't get any gold and he can't protect the market, then it's going to be all over here. He's going to have to spend all his wood just to get the army he needs to defend right now. The sappers have managed to break through, so this is very cheeky stuff from Ares. Heavy sapper production now, and he's just sending them all through Smeagol's base. He's just trying to take out buildings and make it really difficult for his opponent to stabilize, taking out the houses and the production buildings. Even though Smeagol's got such a big bank, it just ties him up having to remake everything at a time when he's also struggling a little bit for resources. The villagers here on the gold mine being picked off by the fortress, and that other gold mine for Smeagol's finished. So Smeagol's pretty much out of gold other than what he's got coming through his caravans. Sapper's running right. Smeagol's got a huge amount of wood in the bank though, so it's mainly the gold and the food he's struggling for here. Ares in the meanwhile has just got a lot of everything in the bank. And it's 84 villages to 40, so Smeagol's eco is in tatters right now. The Lancer Sapper composition actually seems to have really gutted the economy, on top of killing a whole bunch of production and houses, and now that market line's being picked off, so I think Ares has now got Smeagol in the crocodile role at the moment. No market, no easy gold access here for Smeagol. It's going to be tough. There is this gold mine here, and Smeagol could put a fortress up and go for it. So, but GG, I think he thinks it's going to be a tough sell from here on out. He's lost safety over on this left side of this map. The walls have been breached. And yeah, it's really post-late game now. Ares has got heaps in the bank. How much is a wonder in PvP these days? Still needed a bit of stone to get one, but... And he wasn't really walled in well himself, but... It was enough. And he defended well enough. So GG guys, that was a hell of a slog, that one. Ares victorious for a second game.